Thanks for inviting me.
It's an adjustment because I'm so used to meeting people in person
Yeah.
and talking over the phone that I'm building a better relationship with technology by doing these Zoom calls.
Hey, I am actually as well, man. Everything that's going on, you have to be on the Zoom. It's certain etiquette you got to have. It's certain lighting and certain position in the, I'm like, man, because I've been on some calls where I was like, damn, my camera wasn't looking right, and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, yeah.
all type, yeah. So I'm not really a techie person, man, to be honest with you, but I'm learning to adjust as we move along. So
You're not alone. You're not alone. I'm the same way. I know I need to adjust, and I know change is the only inevitable thing. So I just try to move with it.
got you, got you.
So hey, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you from, man.
All right, man. I'm from originally from born and raised in Galveston, Texas, down in the Gulf Coast, hour south of Houston. Um, I was born and raised there, but I moved to Houston roughly after graduation. That was probably around 1991.
Uh-huh.
So I spent some time, spent a few years in Houston, moved to Atlanta in 95, came back to Houston in 2000. So I've been in Houston pretty much majority of the last 20 years. And that's pretty much it.
Excuse me. Got you. Okay. So being that you grew up in the Houston area, is this where you began your journey for commercial lending?
Yes, it actually is, man. I started in real estate. What got me into commercial lending, I started in real estate, being a realtor probably in 2003.
Oh, okay. So you,
Yeah.
you don't just have experience on the lending side, you have some
Nah,
experience as a
yeah.
licensed agent as well.
Yes, I started in real estate
2003.
2003, 2004. So I was a loan officer and a real estate agent.
Tell us a
And
little bit
back
about
then,
that journey.
yeah. So back then, I think, man, how do you want me? Because I have a lot of things that I've done, but I'm gonna stick to the subject at hand that led me into, you know what I'm
We can
saying?
build on it.
I've been all over the place, man. I've been a serial entrepreneur, to be honest with you, since about 92, 93. And I'm a former barber. So so what I used to be a barber because, man, actually, I was taught, do for self. You know what I'm saying? I started off in, working retail, as a youngster. And I
Hmm.
just saw at an early age, I saw how corporate America was moving. And I was able to see, okay, this isn't for me, man. I need to create my own avenue, do for myself, create my own income stream, etc. And, I used to cut hair, man, back in high school, and just turned into a career after I left the retail. So, but after coming back from Atlanta, I'm after coming back from Atlanta, it was time for a change. You start having kids, start needing more money, start wanting to
Right.
think, it's like, man, I gotta get more income. So I started studying real estate, and I'm not sure how I got into real estate. It just crossed my mind one day because nobody around me was doing real estate, and heard about the
Probably call
money
one of
you
them late night infomercials.
Probably so. Probably so. Probably so, man. And started taking the classes and pretty much work. I think that was like the height of when everything started, you know, going good in real estate. They had stated loans and no income doc loans, and it was people out there. I was meeting. Actually, I met people at the barbershop. That's how I was able to gain my first clients in real estate because you're already talking to them. They're familiar with you. So
Right.
now you're handing out cards that, okay, this is what I'm about to be doing. So it's always somebody always knows somebody that wants something in the barbershop. And that's kind of how I launched my career from that, man. It took me, I ran into one guy that closed 3 deals with me at one time, and I was like, I'm done cutting hair, man. You
From
know
the
what I'm saying?
barbershop. Yeah,
From the
from the
barbershop.
barbershop. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And
I
I
like
was
that.
able to go. I didn't look back after that, man. And
I like that.
so
Um,
and after doing real estate for a minute, for a year or two, probably about a year and a half, man, I saw that people wouldn't have the loan officers wasn't handling my clients right, or they wasn't giving me real approved deals. And I wanted to be in control of the deal the whole time, not to be greedy from the money side, but to know that my deal is, if I see that it's able to close, I want to make it close. You know what I'm saying? Versus
Yeah.
having a pre-approval letter and then getting 2 weeks out and the deal is denied. You know, that's disappointing, especially when you're on commission.
So
And
you start
especially,
to see a lot of areas where different lenders were basically dropping the ball on your deals.
yes, exactly. And they weren't taking it as serious as I was, because, we're commissioned people, man. So,
Right.
you counting on that. We're not hourly, we're not salary. We need that money to keep going, So I started being a loan officer because it only made sense, man. And a lot of customers wanted you to handle everything because they were already familiar with you. So
Right.
they trusted you through the whole process
I just
versus,
had some friends just reach out to me yesterday, and literally, they're already going through the process of building a home, and they just reached out to me and said, "Do you know this lender?" I'm like,
yeah,
"No, I don't." But
yeah, yeah,
if you need an agent to go over the language with you, I can definitely do that.
yeah.
But
I'm
so I
sure.
feel you on that.
So it was somebody that you knew
Yeah,
already?
yeah. I went to some
Okay.
people from high school, and I was kind of a little depressed that they didn't reach out to me
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
agent to represent them. But I just
That's
said
how
no.
that's how it usually is, man. And what I've learned is, man, family and friends, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want those deals, to be honest with you. You know.
You've been through that. Look,
Yeah.
it's either I'm gonna be
Sometimes,
your counselor or I'm gonna be your agent.
yeah, exactly, man. And then it's always trying to get something for nothing, and and
Yeah.
so forth, man. But anyway, uh, so yeah, I started doing that, man. And by the time I think
But when the
the
crash
crash
hit, you
hit,
was
man.
getting into lending.
No, I was still in lending. Yeah, because I was doing lending about 3 years before the crash hit.
Okay.
Crashed and hit to about '09, '08, '09, and man, it was devastating. It was devastating, bro. I didn't make any money for about a year and a half, man, because I was didn't know what to do. But I had enough money in reserves
What did
that,
that do to your mindset and your motivation? Because
man,
I know you said you've been having a serial entrepreneur mindset for some time, and things have been the wheels have been turning for you. But what did that crash do to you and your mindset and your business at that time?
that crash basically put me in a state of depression because I had actually started getting into flipping. I bought my first flip house as well, and me and a partner, and started renovating. We got it rehab, and by the time we got all the repairs done, they stopped lending into those areas. Certain areas they just stopped lending overnight, like
Hmm.
undesirable areas. So
Yeah.
they
Now
couldn't.
that opportunity zones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
opportunity zones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So man, I was flipping in those opportunity zones, but those are the people that needed the special type of loans to get approved. So I ended up breaking even on that home because I had to get out of it because we put cash into it. It wasn't
Mhm.
finance. We put cash. So not knowing where the market was going to go, had to get that cash out, and it actually took, man, it took about 2.5 years for everything to start getting back right. But I didn't, I was back to my mind state, man. My mind state was destroyed because here I am thinking that nothing can ever happen in real estate. I was still young, younger, so never been through an actual recession in my working adulthood.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking this couple months, just like we are here with COVID. They told us 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, and here we are, 8 months later. You know what I'm saying?
We about to make a baby.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
So
having
man,
COVID babies being born right now.
yeah. Coronavirus. Uh, but no, man, it kind of messed me up mentally because I'm like, I didn't know where to go from there because here I am thinking that this is my career, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm about to do for a while. So I had to
Yeah.
refigure out some things, man, and go from there. And I got into insurance. I got into insurance because I started looking at I started looking at, man, what's recession proof? What does people have to have regardless of what happens in the economy? I don't
Yeah,
ever want to be tied to depending on, something that's not recession proof. When you got it, when you got bills, when you got family, when you have kids in college, etc., man.
right.
So I got into insurance around 2010, man, and I was actually an insurance adjuster. Still is an insurance adjuster, licensed as an insurance adjuster. So out of that, adjusting people homes and automobiles, etc. I got my PNC license because I'm like, my PNC, property and casualty license, meaning I can sell auto and home insurance. So what I've done with that, what got me into commercial lending was my background in real estate and loans, and then I got into insurance adjusting. I said, man, I want to back again. I want to create my own business. So
Uh-huh.
I can, yeah, I understand the policies on auto and home since I'm adjusting the policies. So let me write these policies. I also have connections in real estate and commercial. So let me get back into my circle and start my own deal versus outsourcing everything. I'm the type of guy, man, that I don't want to be the guy. Like if I ever work for a company, I'm trying to figure out how they did it. You know what I'm saying? Versus, how can I do it better? I don't want. I'm not the guy. I'm more of a leader than a follower. You
Yeah,
follow what
so
I'm saying?
you plug into systems and you see how the system can work for you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
not
yeah,
someone who's going to plug into a system and just continue to follow the system because the
yeah,
system's been working for whoever created the system.
yeah. Whoever created the system. Yeah, yeah. You got me. You
So
understand? You
I
understand?
definitely comprehend that. I did. I found out that entrepreneur lifestyle was better for me last year when I left this, when I was forcefully left the state. Um,
Where
but
were you at?
I worked with the Texas Real Estate Commission. I worked with the Board of Pharmacy. I worked with the
Okay.
Secretary of State.
So you was in
Um,
government on the government side. Okay.
yes, sir. So I went specifically to work with the Real Estate Commission and the Secretary of State to learn how to open and close businesses. And then
Okay.
along with that, I just basically was like, well, I'm going to take this system and I'm going to apply it to not only what I've been wanting to learn instead of going to school to learn this stuff. And I'm just
Yeah.
going to work for these companies that are
Yeah.
responsible for it. And
Yeah.
so even though I'd already had my real estate knowledge since 2012, at 2016, I went to go work for Trek. And then I stayed there 2 years. Then I specifically went to the Secretary of State. And luckily, last year, I parted with the Board of Pharmacy and happened to have a little money saved up and ended up getting my unemployment. And so I was able to ride that wave from August of last year up until Corona hit on my unemployment. And because I got a couple of deals, they started to sustain me. So I didn't have to use all of my retirement money either. And
Gotcha.
so that just kind of became a blessing in disguise because it wasn't working out for me to work in those corporate areas because I was literally being I was able to see where I was being where we all see where you're overworked and underutilized
Yeah. Yeah.
or overworked and underpaid. And
Underpaid. Yeah.
so you have these positions that you apply for, and for some reason you could never get in these leadership positions, but they love to toot your horn at the entry level position. And so I just started to catch on that, oh, in most of these places, I'm the only one that looks like what I look like. I'm the only one that sounds like what I sound like. And I'm starting to realize that they didn't want, it felt like they didn't want someone who looked like me leading a room full of people who don't look like me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I decided that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and give this real estate stuff a try. And I can pick and choose my own clients. I'm not subject to work for everybody. And I really
Gotcha.
appreciate that because when you're working for somebody else, you are a slave to their system and how the system works. And you get yourself in trouble by not following their system. But as an
Gotcha.
entrepreneur, I create my own system. And if you don't want to fall into my system, then we don't need to do relationship business together.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
so
I agree. I
I can
totally
relate to
agree.
that, brother.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I've been like a what do you call it? Not a big rebellious person, but mentally I'm automatically rebellious against certain things if it doesn't fit into. I'm outside the box with a lot of things. So, and I can't plug into certain systems because it doesn't sound right, even though it's a system. But logically, some of it doesn't even make sense. But people just go along with it because they say this is how it's supposed to be. but it doesn't even make sense to go that route. You follow what I'm saying?
Well, you know what's powerful about, and I love talking about this, systems, because the thing about systems is, what about the people in the system is not supposed to benefit?
Yeah.
So just because your system works for the people it's supposed to benefit,
Mm-hmm.
what about when I get into your system and I recognize it's supposed to work against me?
Yeah.
I'm supposed
Exactly.
to keep following and improving that system?
So you talking
Mm-mm.
about America as a whole then?
Oh man, yeah, yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I'm very passionate about it because
Yeah.
I literally seen how America is built on the backs of undereducating us and underpaying us.
Yes.
Built on the
Yes.
back, and when I say us, those of
Yeah.
African American descent and
Yes.
some of European descent, but primarily those of
Yeah.
African American descent. And
Yeah.
they have so many generations of trying to make us whole that the system literally, it wants to make us feel good
Yeah.
but never make us whole.
Yeah.
And so when I started to realize, oh, they love to make me feel good in these entry level positions where they don't want to pay me,
Yeah.
but when I was sitting up at the real estate commission answering phone calls and I'm the only one who holds a real estate license and I've been in the field and you don't want to promote me while I don't have any write-ups or been in trouble. All I've been doing is doing my job and doing it well, and I'm a little more educated and knowledgeable, not because I'm better than anyone,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
because I literally was in the field.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
start telling me, well, this person got more experience here, working here. But it's like, I'm working here and I've been out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I eventually caught on and I was like, you know what? It's nepotism at its finest. And they don't
Yeah.
want to call it nepotism. They'll
Yeah.
call it something else. They'll call it referring a friend, a family member. And
Yeah.
just because they work in a different department, that it's no longer nepotism. So I
Yeah.
caught on to their games
Yeah.
and I really started to see, you know what? I'm not meant to be a leader in these systems. I'm meant to be a workhorse.
Yeah.
As long as I'm a workhorse, they can use me. But the moment I start trying to be a leader or a captain of the ship, I raise red flags. And I raise red flags because the way I lead is not the way they would want me to lead.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so I started to say, you know what? These these places, if they're gonna use me, my time and energy and knowledge, I'm gonna just do what they're doing to me. So
Yeah.
I intentionally started going to companies to learn their system.
Yeah. And
And
that's what we're supposed to do.
yeah,
That's
that's
what
what you're supposed
everybody's
to do.
supposed to think like
That's what you're
that. Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
so I was like, what's the point of going to um go stress and sweat and bust your butt for someone else's vision and
Yeah.
not apply something to your very own vision? So I basically
To,
started making companies feel like if you don't got nothing to offer me, I'm not finna give you nothing.
yeah. Exactly.
And that was my motto for corporations. A little different in real estate because
Yeah.
I'm with an amazing team right now that's collaborative and inclusive, that operates not like corporate America.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
that corporate America time frame that I spent with them for 3 years, it was just like eye opening because I had literally seen where systems are meant to keep certain people in place and elevate others.
Yeah.
And that's on many facets. I'm sure you've possibly experienced as well.
Man.
Not
Yeah.
just the job.
Yeah. And to add on to that, man, I forgot who said it. It might have been Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said, man, we can't fault them for doing that because they control everything. Because it's just like
Yeah.
your family, you're supposed to promote your family if your family is, anybody that looks like you or close to you, but we don't own anything. So therefore, it's like we have to get a degree and then beg for a job into their system. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And then kiss ass. Oh, excuse my
No,
language.
no, please. This is
Okay,
explicit.
so I can be myself. So I can be
You
myself here.
can.
All
You
right.
can.
So we
Please.
had to kiss ass, man. Well, you notice, I've noticed, man. I've been studying, man. I've been having knowledge of self since about '92. Actually,
Yeah.
to get who got me on my journey was Farrakhan. You know what I'm saying?
And
Farrakhan
yes.
say do for self. You know what I'm saying? And get knowledge of self, do for self. Don't depend on nobody else, man. Make it. So I've been on my entrepreneurial spirit since '92. You know what I'm saying? When I was 19 years old, bro. And so I haven't been religious since '92 either. You know what I'm saying? So
You ever heard Jeff
much big.
Brown?
Jeff Bright. Yeah, yeah, yes,
I like,
yeah,
and no offense to those who are religious, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
like if
yeah,
you say you can't be all three. You can't be black, can read, and a Christian.
yeah,
You say you can't be all three. You're
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
you can be two out of three, but you can't be all three. Because he said if you can't read, you'll no longer be a Christian.
yeah,
And he said
yeah,
if you I mean no, he said if you can read, you'll no longer be a Christian. If you can't read, then you won't basically be able to comprehend the systems that are in play against you.
yeah, yeah. No,
Because
you
because our own oppressor gave us the system of religion.
got you.
So now after you held me away from heaven, you want me to go to heaven. And so when I just started picking up on those systems, man, I was just like, okay, I
Yeah,
I see it, and it's grown adults. And like I said, no offense, but I can only speak my truth.
yeah,
When I start catching on to stuff not lining up logically, I'm like, I'm not gonna live by this faith because a lot of this faith stuff had me stumbling in my life.
yeah, exactly.
And as soon as I start being assured of myself and certain and studying for myself, I was able to turn those blocks into to steps.
Yeah.
But
And let me ask you
eventually,
this. Let me ask
yes,
you
sir.
this. So, are you the black sheep in your family like I am?
I am the black sheep in the family. I I I don't like systems. I don't like tradition. I've always challenged authority since
Hey,
I've been a kid.
hey, and my mom see, I've been the black sheep since 1819, brother.
Yeah,
And back in like early 90s when it wasn't popular. So amongst my
right,
family member, I didn't eat certain things. I didn't go to church. But my mom who was alive at that time, she understood and she like, be yourself. She never tried to say, baby, well, you need to do this or whatever. She knew I was a man. I was able to stand up. Like some people aren't to this day, they can be 50 years old, but they won't go against their parents' thought process or they won't tell them or correct them certain things. But at an early age, I was, nah, ma, it ain't like that. Or I'm about to do this. Just because you live like that. I know friends now that won't do certain things or go against the grain because everybody, it's all emotional instead of logical, like you said. They're
right.
hanging on into emotional stuff
And you gotta
instead of
have
thinking for
both.
themselves. Yeah,
You gotta have see you gotta have both. But people pick sides so often that they can't even put the puzzle pieces together.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right, man. You're right. So we're gonna see how this. They got their Kamala in office and they got their Biden. So
Sure, we'll choose the lesser of two evils. Yeah, like, and I posted some on my Facebook the other day. I was like, when when you are the Illuminati, you don't
yeah,
care who the president is.
yeah,
When you have been illuminated, when you have been
yeah,
enlightened, you don't care who
yeah,
the president is.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
responsible for what's going on in my area, and I've always affected what's going on in my area. All this other
Exactly,
stuff is just masquerading and a puppet show.
exactly,
It's
man.
just a puppet show because agendas and systems have already been set into place.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
and then
that's why we
it's already planned.
select what
Yeah,
we select from what the elect chose.
exactly, exactly. Bilderberg, Trilateral Commission. Come on, man.
Man, look.
I go on and on, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And,
Hey, hey,
I thought so. I'm glad that I could go there with you because that actually says so much how we even found each other through Zoe Williams' show.
So yeah, yeah. So you
That
haven't
was
looked at my logo. Look at my logo on my page, man. Look at my
yeah.
logo.
I will, man.
Look
I
at my
will.
logo. It explains everything. Pineal group. It means pineal gland, which is the third eye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I subliminally put that into my. Those that get it might not get it, but it is what it is. So oh yeah, I see the chakras and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. Yeah,
That's funny,
yeah,
man. But I
yeah,
can. So just to keep it going, and we can
yeah.
fill. I love these conversations, so we can fill this
Got
in
you.
as we go.
Yeah,
So what are commercial loans used for? Just to touch
man.
base a little bit on that.
Okay, commercial lending. As you know, I'm a touch on the real estate side, then I'm gonna go to everything else.
Yeah.
Commercial and real estate is 5 units or above. So that's what I can do commercial construction. I can get people loans for commercial construction. I can do hard money loans for anybody that's trying to flip a commercial property or rehab a commercial property. I can do an SBA loan for, you know, equipment, land, etc. So the other types of commercial loans are, let's say you need a line of credit, you know what I'm saying? You need working capital. I have a program, it's called factoring. Factoring is people that have purchase orders or
Mhm.
outstanding invoices. A lot of companies need working capital, man. So it may look like a company is making 2 million, but their debt is 2.5. So what we do is they have those outstanding invoices they haven't got paid on. I have a company that'll buy those 90-day invoices to keep that money flowing, you know, while you're creating more capital for your business. You follow what I'm saying?
I
They'll
feel you.
buy your outstanding invoices and lend you money on those outstanding invoices, even though you haven't got paid for it. So they're banking on that other company to get that money back from.
Is that sometimes loan known as a bridge loan?
Well, bridge loan is basically a hard money loan. They just call it bridge loan because people steer away from phrases. You know what I'm saying? Like hard money in residential real estate is common. But then when you're talking a certain language with commercial people, a
Okay,
commercial bit bridge loan to help them get a bridge, like you get from one spot to another spot, like a physical bridge. So it's basically the same thing. Hard money is a bridge loan for
gotcha,
commercial.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Because it's basically with this factoring, you're basically saying, all right, they owe this 2.5 million in debt, you
Yeah.
know, and they haven't got their property built yet. But this company comes in and says, even though you haven't got the property built yet, we're going to pay off the debt you owe initially, and we're going to give you a loan to fill it in for me from there.
Well, factoring has nothing to do with the real estate on the property. Factoring has to do with, let's say I'm going to use an example. Let's say you're a t-shirt printing company, okay, and you're printing shirts for the school districts.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a contract with the school district, but they only pay on net 30, the net 60, the net 90s. So you've printed the $10,000 worth of t-shirts, but that school district hasn't paid you yet. They're going to pay you in 90 days. Well, the factoring company comes in, buys those invoices, gives you that 10,000, and they wait on that school district to pay the factoring company. That way you're getting your money instantly instead of, you know, then you're able to pay your employees. You're able
Like an
to expand
advance.
on your, yeah, like an advance, like an 85% advance. We're going
Okay.
to give you 85% of the 100%. You follow what I'm saying? To keep
Hmm.
you in business and to keep cash flow going, because a lot of small businesses, they're neck and neck. It might look all good from the outside, but they're barely making their bills too, because they got overhead. You know what I'm saying? They got
Right.
equipment, they got breakdowns, they got uh, unemployment taxes, they got other taxes, they got light bills. So your workers are still making that product. You're still buying that product to print, but I haven't got paid. I got to go in my own pocket to pay for that until I wait for them to pay me in 90 days. But factoring company comes in, buys those invoices right now and keeps money in your pocket, and then gets that money from the school district when they're ready to pay.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, factoring is a big thing, man. That's, well, the whole country, as you
That's
know, is
specific.
based on credit, man.
Yes.
Everything, money has to keep moving and circulating. That's why the SBA loans and the EI, it was the PPP and the idle loans, and
Mm-hmm.
they have to keep putting money into this system, man, because it's a false created system to keep everything going. Money has to keep circulating.
That fiat, that fiat
The
currency.
fiat currency,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
already know. So, man,
And
and
so,
man, another thing to add on to that, man, is I noticed how, if you notice during the first recession, who did they take care of first?
the
Who did they
what?
give money to? The bank, yeah, the banks.
The
They
banks.
put money back into the banks because the banks are who control the businesses and keep money flowing through the businesses. We got mad as consumers, like, oh, they're not helping the consumers. But if the banks
But
fail,
the bank
it's
helps you.
really going, yeah, the banks is who lending money to the small businesses to keep you employed and
Right.
keep the money circulating.
Right. And so when you see, I think that's one thing consumers who are only employees don't
Yeah.
understand about self-employed individuals and business owners who employ 5 to 100 people or 500 people.
Yeah.
These companies who are employing people, they are literally funding lifestyles of people. They're
Yeah.
not just taking care of this. See, a lot of times when people talk about the rich is helping the rich, like, you think that one person just went and stuffed money in their one pocket?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they got to disperse it amongst the many companies that they running. You
Yeah.
know, the many companies they invested in, including those banks.
Yeah. Including those banks, man. So man, I figure out, man, if you can't beat them, it's see, I got what's called, man. I'm considered a conscious capitalist, man.
Yeah,
Meaning
talk
that,
about it.
man, I'm conscious. I have knowledge of self. I know what's going on. But in order to survive in this country the way it is, you have to make money in order to live a certain lifestyle, or get health insurance, eat what you want to eat healthy, because everything is going up daily or yearly. So which
Yeah,
side do I want to be on? Do I want to be on this side, or I need to get on this side and make this money so I can still live how I want to live? Because you could be conscious, man. You know, you got the you go to some
yeah,
events, man, the Kwanzaa events, man. I don't want to be the conscious cash that's selling the incense that's making, $5 a day. I want to still be able to go fly where I want to fly, eat where I
right.
want to eat, but still have knowledge of self and still keep it real with myself
Yeah.
as life goes on. You know what I'm saying?
No, I hear that. That was a part of, I think when I first got into real estate, that I was dealing with. I thought I got into real estate to make money, and then as I started to realize that I'm chasing money, that I wasn't making money.
Yeah.
I also realized I wasn't even living with a purpose. So I ended up getting sick, diagnosed with epilepsy in 2014, and
Okay.
had seizures going on for about a year and a half. And once I mastered my body and started to learn more about my body, they started to reduce. I stopped taking my pills. But once I got back into real estate, after I was working with the state, um, I basically was like, okay, I actually need to help people that were like me, who didn't have this knowledge of certain interest rates, who didn't have the knowledge of how to even look at their taxes or go get their tax exemptions. I need to be able to educate people the difference between just buying a house as a retail buyer who wants to buy their forever home, and a person who's purchasing their very first home specifically because they want to invest in real estate to start making money. I literally had to start making myself valuable in those two different places. And when I started making myself more valuable, then money started to come to me. But in the process of that, I had learned from these two young ladies. And I was sitting, every time we were sitting down, I was telling them how much I don't care about money. I don't care about money. And, she's driving around in her Tesla, nice looking car and stuff. And she was like, look, I know you don't care about money, but you still need money to survive. And she was like, it's nothing wrong with making money, Thomas. She said, you just got a bad relationship with money. Because I kept telling her all the negative things that I associated with money,
Yeah.
family and friends, or yourself just changing, or people turning on you, or envying and greed, all the negative associations.
Yeah.
But I
Exactly.
wasn't doing what you said, and I wasn't highlighting. I still want to travel. I still need money to travel. I still, if I want to help communities, how you gonna help communities and you ain't got no money, Thomas?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like you gotta. It's like that Jay-Z verse. Um, Ooh, it's gonna come to me, and I couldn't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I got rich and gave back to me. That's the win-win. And
Okay. Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
say the next time you see the homies and they rims is spinning, just know my mind is working just like them. And when I think about that, I'm like, I don't gotta be no dope boy to like money and appreciate money.
Yeah.
I can literally be a businessman who is transforming communities, one person, one family at a time, make money off of that, and still feel good about it. And when I accepted that it was okay to make money because of that, then it was easier for me to be a conscious capitalist, to relate to what you were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, 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 man. That's the term I coined, man, because it's like we're in America. You got to be capital.
Yeah,
This whole thing is You have to, man. To be honest with you, I don't want to get too much off a subject every time, but when
No.
you say certain things, it brings me to other things. And man, honestly, bro, I'm not Republican or Democrat. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I see the main thing with the Republicans, they're all mostly all business owners, and they all want that money to keep flowing. And I
Mhm.
know a lot of them are racist. Don't get me wrong, but man, I'm starting to get over like who's Democrat and who's Republican, long as they don't disrespect me personally. You know what I'm saying? Because some
Yeah.
people, huh?
No,
Because you got
I'm
some
not gonna hear you.
you got some of these preachers that's Democrat that's leading people to the damn chopping board. You know what I'm saying? They haven't done anything. Like I passed by, I live close to Midtown Houston. So Midtown used to be, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Houston, but
I'm
Third
there.
Ward, they used to call, well, it's all Third Ward, but then they named certain areas Midtown after the gentrification to get other people in. But
Yeah.
I was driving by, Texas Southern the other day, and man, they got this 3 block multi-story church going up, brand new, but then it's hood all the way around. You know what I'm saying? We get the best churches in the nation, but then the development or the jobs or the next block is trashed out, but it's a $20 million church sitting there that they're building.
Yeah.
That those same poor people are going to go to every week and give 10 to 20% of their money, and then go back and live and struggle in their wherever they're living.
That's real. That's real.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
It's everything is jacked up, man. That's why you got to take everything. You can't be like, okay, I'm this, I'm that, because we all got conservative and progressive ways, depending on what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? But I understand certain things, man. They just want that money to keep flowing because they're business owners. You know what I'm saying? That's the main
at the end
thing
of the day. At the end of the day,
at the end
America
of the
is
day.
a corporation.
Corporation,
Uh,
spelled with 3 Ks.
Hey, America is a corporation for
Yeah,
real.
exactly.
And so you kind of take me to this next question. Like, what are the rates currently? Because when we say it's not about being Democrat or Republic, I don't care which one of those is.
Yeah,
What do our rates look like? What do our interest rates look like?
yeah.
Because if I
Eh,
can make interest rates work to my advantage, if I can make what's already laid out in the system work to my advantage, then I can basically take advantage of my situation, not necessarily being affected by the mass and who the president is and stuff, and
Yeah,
if I'm Republican or Democrat. But am I taking advantage of these rates that hiked or fell? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Now, when it comes to rates in commercial, it varies, man, depending on the product. There's no such thing as like what's today's rate. Like when
Got
you're getting a
you.
mortgage loan. See, mortgage loan rates might change a couple times a day,
Uh-huh.
also. But on the commercial side, there's no such thing as what's the rates today. You know what I'm saying? It
So I need to
depends on
say, I need to
what's
say
your
I'm coming.
product, what's your package, or whatever.
I need a fix and flip, and I would ask you, what's the rate for a fix and flip with you? Is that kind of what you
And not,
mean?
no, actually, and what it'll depend on is just like you have your A borrower and you have your subprime borrower in commercial as well. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So the subprime borrower can't get the same rate. So it just depends based on your profile, your credit, based on your reserves, and then based on which lender I send it to. It's the same. It's kind of the same thing as residential, because you can't just quote rates to the average person because if you're a prime, well, buyers are liars is what they say in real estate. So they say, man, I got an 800 credit score, and they ain't checked it in 3 years, and it's a
Yeah,
550. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And you done quoted that rate without looking at the whole package or pulling up everything as what it is today. They might have
exactly.
just had some fraud committed on their credit last week and don't even know about it. So, we don't really well, as a professional, we don't really get into rates until we get all the package together and put everything together and then present a rate after everything is looked at.
I feel that. And so,
Yeah.
well, can you tell me this? What's one of the main products or services you provide for your commercial loans? Um,
The main product will probably be factoring and lines of credit and working capital. Because
Factoring, lines of credit, and working capital.
and working capital, meaning that they want to purchase this new equipment. So, they need a line of credit to get that new equipment to get this new contract, 400,000.
Okay, okay. And what are some of the like requirements that may surround that? I know you mentioned a few of them just a moment ago, like your credit score and if you ever have a history of them. Can you go kind of
All right.
run through
Yeah.
that again?
Like if you've already been in business, most of the time it's 2 to 3 years of personal tax returns and business tax returns,
Okay.
and your balance sheet. And it's kind of like what we call on the commercial end as what they say on residential debt to income ratio. They don't call it debt to income on the commercial side. They call it debt service ratio, meaning that, you know what I'm saying, if this money that you're borrowing is going to be 10,000 a month, you need to have 12,000 coming in. And so it's called a 1.2 debt to service ratio. So it just depends on the bank and the product. The debt service ratio varies. So like I don't never want to be specific because
Right,
it's
because it
all
varies.
going to be,
Everybody's
it's going to
situation
vary. Every person that wants the same, so two people want the same thing, it might vary based
is
on,
not the same identity.
yeah, same
And
identity,
so,
based on their business tax return, based on how much money they got coming in. Did they take a loss in 2018 on this tax return? Did it show an upward, what you call it, upper appreciation and all you, yeah, upper trend, yeah, you follow what I'm saying, yeah, did it follow upper trend, etc. So yeah, it's nothing specific or specific, yeah.
okay, okay. And so for the even, I know you were talking about those that actually were already experienced and in business. What about those that are brand new to try to get one of these working capital or lines of credit or to purchase new equipment?
Uh,
Or there
Probably
was
have to go with SBA loan. SBA is probably more lenient, man, and everything's gonna have to be, in order. You know what I'm saying? Your score has to be probably at least a 600. You know, and think about it, man. A lot of people, some lenders are now getting to where on the SBA you can't have like DUI, you can't have back child support, believe it or not. So
yeah.
they're getting like everybody. You can't have
Stringent.
outstanding. Yeah, you can't have outstanding debt on student loans. And that's becoming a trend, man. So that's actually a different way of discriminating. They know who they're targeting with certain things. They're not gonna say color, but they're gonna say, okay, you need this and this and this. When they know a majority of people probably got certain situations, so that's gonna take them out of the box anyway.
Man, I was literally just talking about this with somebody else, either yesterday or the day before. But I was like, the system, it it isn't set up to just say, oh, we don't lend to black people anymore.
Yeah,
They use other demographics to do that against
exactly,
ourselves. When you
exactly,
check
man.
them boxes, you do it against yourself. That's
Yeah,
why there's a large number of people who appear to be Latino or Mexican, but they check off white.
yeah.
There's a
Hey,
large number of people who appear to be
yeah,
Asian, but they check off white.
yeah. Hey, and believe it or not, man, I was looking at something. I think it was a census or something. Everybody that comes from North Africa and the Middle East and some Spanish companies are considered white.
I can. Why? Well, tell me why first.
Man, I don't know, but see, I know. See, and that's why I think when they say it's 70 white folks are 77% of the country, it's not really true white folks. It's other people that's checking white as well that gives them the big number. And see, that's why it's a big panic right now because they're losing power. They're disappearing. They can't procreate on a normal scale. So that's why they're saying by 2050 they're going to be the minority. So they're lying somewhere. If you're saying the country's 77% white, is it true white? Or is it everybody else that you're making them say white? Even Egyptian, yeah, black Egyptians have to check white when they come over here.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
they have
Wow.
to. They're considered white. I got a screenshot. I'll send it to you when we get off.
Okay.
If you come from North Africa, Egypt, etc., Morocco, you're considered white on a government document.
Wow, man. And all that goes into you being able to. So now when you look at it, are you able to benefit from certain minority programs when you have all these disguises you could wear? Because it's
Yeah,
like we're just man, this can go on really.
Hey, we
I'm
get
trying to
into
ask
it,
my
bro. Hey,
question.
we get into it,
I'm
man.
trying to ask my question right. So, for example, I'm black, but what is that? And so when I look at I'm black, but they get to say they're Egyptian, or they get to say they're Mexican, or they get to say that they're British. If so many of these programs were created for minorities that originally were just black, how did so many other people who aren't just black get included in it? And that makes me see what you're saying with those numbers being inflated,
Yeah.
because those numbers are inflated so they can, so the system is saying, all right, even though these people aren't necessarily them, they're going to still benefit from the things that we give them. And even though these people at this lower level aren't at this higher level, like we're gonna we might pay them a lot, or we might make them, fuck it, we'll just say we'll make them sports stars. We'll
Exactly.
make them celebrities.
Yeah.
And so you just get to see these inflated numbers working in different places. And I didn't want to go too far from what you were saying about the checkbox and the Egyptians and people from Morocco and stuff being able to say that they're white on paper, because that scare that's going on in America right now that's not even talked about, that white silence, um, it's literally being played out. And for me, I believe the people who oppress us would rather destroy this country before they ever held transfer over the power to the people that either originally had it or deserve it.
Yeah.
I truly believe my person would destroy this entire country and system before they ever allowed for people that don't look like them, the majority, to run the country again. Even though they want to talk about what's native and what's indigenous and stuff like that. And here we got Thanksgiving coming up, and you have this positive spin on the negative situation.
Yeah.
And I just seen that so many times that sometimes I get offended around holidays, but I try to be nice for other people.
Hey, no, I do too, man. I've been offended for a while, bro. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I end up being the loner, or I'm the Scrooge, or
yeah,
that type of thing, man. And I don't really say nothing no more. I've actually started controlling myself the last couple of years and just be quiet, because it's not gonna really do anything or benefit, you know what I'm saying, by me lashing out. I used to, man, my Facebook post used to be like, I used to get banned sometimes, but I stopped doing all that, man, because it's not hurting or helping anything, man. I just keep my stuff to myself. And when I get amongst people that has an understanding, I can speak on certain things. But
yeah.
everybody's not going to have a certain type of understanding. They believe what they believe, and that is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right, right.
so
And so some of those things, like we were just saying politically, we don't even try to bother with, or with those back to just the loans. Like we see those numbers being inflated and changed around that are systemically racist.
yeah,
We can say that it's systemically racist, because like you were just saying, it we know certain people live in these neighborhoods. We know the certain people that live in these neighborhoods, we know they have certain jobs. We know the certain people that live in these neighborhoods that have certain jobs can only afford certain schools. We know that these certain schools that surround these neighborhoods and certain jobs are being under under
underserved.
underutilized, underserved.
Yeah, yeah,
And we know that they specifically are only going to have certain thoughts produced from that low frequency level. And so I always like to go into thinking about Hitler and his system of ghettos, because our ghettos, I used to think, were created from Hitler's system, but now I'm being taught that Hitler's system was learned from our systems of the ghettos and what we decided to do in America to the Africans, African American. And so, in looking at how much Hitler's system worked and mirroring that to America and how America's system is working with keeping blacks at the very bottom, even though we've been here just as long as the Europeans, but we still have the same amount of wealth since we were able to be integrated into
Yeah.
society. That doesn't make sense at all to me.
It doesn't.
We got thousands of celebrities with millions of dollars, and somehow we still own the same amount of wealth since integration in 2020. And that's when I start seeing like this is a masquerade. They
Yeah.
love to dress us up and make us feel good,
Yeah.
but they have been able to stay silent and maintain their wealth through land and
Yeah.
businesses.
Putting
And
band-aids on a bullet wound.
yeah, putting band-aids on a bullet wound. And they basically say, look, we treated your sickness
Yeah.
that we gave you.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
treated your sickness that we gave you. Now you should be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps
Yeah.
and go out and kill it in this real estate market. Go out and kill it in this world. Go out and live the American dream now that you're one of the Americans by the 13th Amendment.
Yeah. Man, it goes back to man, I was kind of killing it in real estate and loans back in the day, man. And I got referrals. When you get a referral, you usually think it's a slam dunk or you was highly recommended, you know what I'm saying? And I had people from the other persuasion, once they met me in person, change their mind about doing the deal. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was highly recommended a referral, maybe it was the location I was at. You know, it's a whole lot of things. The imagery of, like, let's say, for instance, if I say I work for Chase and I'm black, you don't mind coming in there. But if I'm at another broker, because Chase has a name or Bank of America has a name, or
Mhm.
I'm saying you're going because that company put you there,
Their
so he
system.
must be all right. You know what I'm saying? That employee, that black employee is in this building, but he's under Chase.
Yeah.
Versus me being that same black employee at an independent shop, now it doesn't hold the same,
Wait.
weight.
Yeah.
I'm the same person. I got more knowledge than whatever, but you're going over here because the name. And I must be all right because Chase said I'm all right. I'm in their system.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Exactly. And that's where it's what you know and it's who you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you gotta know you gotta know some and you gotta know people to put you in certain places because we learn real quick that if some people don't open their mouth for you, some doors don't get open.
yeah,
We
yeah,
because again, the system is not set up for all of us to thrive. The system
yeah,
is set up to allow a few of us in the door by following their system.
yeah.
Because
And don't
everybody
get.
not gonna follow the system. A lot of people gonna spend their time trying to defeat a beast,
Mhm.
defeat a system that is
Not.
undeniably
Yeah,
undisputed.
yeah. Exactly, man.
And it's
Exactly.
been like that for decades now,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's not that we're just gonna continue being beat down by it, but at some point you gotta say, okay, every race has a finish line and an end. I mean, a finish line and a start line and a finish line. Every race. So if we run in a race, why am I gonna keep standing on the sideline talking about where I want to start in the race and I didn't get to start where these people started and I didn't get to do what these people did? I'm gonna just jump in. I'm gonna just jump in and really show myself that I could be better than what I think I was. Because when I started just accepting, like, I need to stop trying to compare myself to my oppressors. If they have already been positioned to be better than me financially,
mhm,
economically, why do I continue to compare myself to something undisputable and undeniable? I said, I need to start competing with my own self. I don't have nothing, so let me start there. I need to make a little bit more than not having nothing.
yeah,
and
yeah,
and I start really looking at myself as I'm not an island, but before I could be a part of the United States and inject money into the United States system, I
yeah.
need to learn how to make money in the United States system. I can't just
Gotcha,
keep sitting back waiting on a handout. And
gotcha.
that's why I like bringing people on like yourself because you diversified yourself in so many different parts of this industry because it's a moving body part with a lot of different bodies I mean, with a lot of different pieces that go to this one body. And when you educate yourself in these different realms, you get to see literally the practices in all these different realms and where you can benefit from and where you've been disadvantaged from. And it's nothing personal that we can take anymore, you
Yeah.
know, because when you realize this is not meant for your personal success, then you get to see, well, whose personal success is it for? I'll just model them. I'll just model the people's success that it's made for. That
Yeah.
way, when I do get caught up in the system, I get caught up in the same system of success they get caught up in.
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
reinvent the wheel. And that's where consciousness, I have to take a step back and be like, okay, I don't need to reinvent the wheel here. I just need to follow the wheel here. But there's certain areas where we're meant to share what we know because there's no space right there. And that space is waiting to be filled by people like you because you literally got that knowledge to disperse it to those who want it and want to use it, not those who are
Exactly.
still using the system against themselves.
Yeah, exactly, man. And that's what I've learned too, man. Just for just people coming to their own light when it's time to come into it. And some people gain, it's something you can look at and you can get it right now. Other people, they might look at it 5 years from now. Oh, okay, now I know. Because
Yeah,
they're not in tune, or their mind isn't open to receive certain information and process it how it needs to be processed.
right.
You
Because some
know,
things. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, no, just like the Matrix, man. The Matrix, one of my favorite movies, man.
True, man.
And that's
I,
one of my favorite movies, bro. You caught in the Matrix. Everybody caught in the Matrix of their everyday lives and not really knowing what's actually going on behind the scenes and how all these things are moving and why things are going this way and etc. You know.
it's it's amazing how we could love things like Wizard of Oz and grow up on things like Wizard of Oz and not even see that we're these people in this system, this society, these citizens, and the government is literally the puppet master of the Oz,
Yeah.
you know, and not
Exactly.
even just the government, but the world governments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in some cases, it might not even be the world governments, but it's the people who retained wealth in America early on, who
Yeah.
were putting money into the banks and the government that influence their decisions. So it's
Yeah.
like all these different levels and layers, and you just like, wow, we walking around here like Oz or like I don't even remember the girl's name, Wendy or whatever, trying to find their way back home or trying to find their way up this yellow brick road to success or their destination, and you realize it's false. You realize that the
It's
destination that was created for you is false because after you
it's a
spend enough
facade.
if you spend enough time and energy pursuing that and you get to it and you realize that's not even what you wanted, that's not even what you like, but you were told that this yellow brick road is where you supposed to go.
Yeah.
So I love bringing knowledge to the forefront to people and information because you just eventually be like, okay, I need to stop trying to do everything on my own and reach out to those who have the resources and stuff I need. So I reach out to Ike for commercial lending when I need some questions answered about 5 units or more and how he could help me. Because initially I was spinning my head and trying to watch YouTube videos. But now I got
Yeah.
someone directly that has experience in not just lending, but insuring. And not just insuring, but representing people as an agent. And so you start to take your questions to people who have years of knowledge in it, and you save yourself years and time of knowledge just by opening up dialogues and questions like this. And that's what this platform is for, man. Just
Yes,
having
sir.
those open discussions, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you had to say about lending before we go into closing?
Let me look at your questions right quick. Is that you got
I
it?
think we
Is that
kind of ran
everything?
through. Yeah, I think we kind of
Okay.
ran through most of them, or
Okay.
all of them, really, in some way, form, or fashion.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. I
Yeah.
see it. Uh, man, that's basically it, man. I think you know, A lot of us, man, a lot of people that look like us don't know. Well, let me say this. I can do 90% of the loans that the bank turns down. See, everybody thinks that when they think of, see, back in just like in real estate, you most people think they have to go straight to a bank versus a broker. A broker, I'm an insurance broker and a commercial broker. So that means I can shop. I got 200 different lenders on the commercial side. I have 20 to 30 different insurance companies that I can shop your insurance with. So a lot of people think that they can go to a bank and if Chase denies them that it's over. No,
Yeah.
we do 90% out of all bank turn downs. You know what I'm saying? Because it's called alternative funding. So I'm pretty sure some people that don't think they can get qualified, I can pretty much help them out.
And is there a minimum down payment for, let's just say, great credit scores? And great,
Uh,
let's just say someone has what's an excellent portfolio? What kind of down payment would that be looking at?
on a
Someone who
investment
checks
unit
all those boxes.
as far as what real estate.
Yes, sorry about that. As far as a real estate,
For real estate deal, you probably 15% at least, 15% down. Yeah.
okay, okay, that's something. That's just something good to know because I know some experienced investors, and I know a lot of brand new investors.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and so
Gotcha.
with the brand newer ones, I would I would put out there. You can piggyback that it's going to be a little bit more unique to look at your file because they don't quite have an identity for you yet.
Yeah.
So in order to look at yours a little bit more closely, you would just basically reach out to Ike and have him move some numbers around, let him dig into your profile a little bit and tell you exactly what you can qualify for.
Yes, sir. And it also depends on where we're at in the market at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying that today, but then something might happen in 3 months to where they're trying to make this money circulate again, and they're offering because let's touch back. I know we're about to close out, but commercial real estate is about to be hurting. It's already hurting now, but we're in the beginning of a recession now. But about a year from now, residential and commercial is going to be hurting because people are about to start filing bankruptcies. It takes a minute for that to go through. Um, I'm getting different calls now from just different hedge fund managers. They're trying to acquire property now because it's about to be a rental market on your end in
Yeah.
probably about 15 months because the people that's losing their homes, they have to go to the rental market. So the apartment community is about to go up and leases is about to go up. So that's what's about to happen right now. There's nothing we can do about it. It's already in effect.
Right, right. Well, I just say this. Feel free if you have
Okay.
any of those clients that are willing to have
Okay.
a
Yeah.
conversation about subject twos and if we could
Yes.
prevent them from foreclosure. I love
Yeah.
to do creative financing on this end. I work with
Okay.
a bunch of people on our team that love to do creative financing. So if we could help still create some of those leasing transitions or help people transition into a lease life, let's
Yeah.
see if we could at least make some money in helping them helping us.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
what I
sir.
say.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
say.
sir. But yeah.
But just a few more things, you know. Tell us the name of your business again,
The name of my company is Pineal Group,
and why you
and
choose Pineal again.
I chose Pineal because it was already an established LLC, and that pretty much represent who I am. I'm a thinker, and I think with my third eye. You know what I'm saying? And pineal means pineal gland, which comes from Egypt. The third eye, the symbol on my logo comes
Yeah,
from Egypt with the pyramid, etc.
and you know one of the things I like to ask people, man, is on their journey, you know, where they are now. If you had to look back, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Stop chasing women. Stop chasing so many women.
Hey, that's fair. That'll save you a lot of money.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Stop chasing. Focus on the money, man. Focus on establishing myself early, man. But hey, I don't regret anything that's ever happened in my life, because everything you learn from everything that's happened, so it's
Yeah.
all a learning experience. I don't have any regrets. You know, I've done some great things, man.
I
But
feel
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And last but not least, man, I love to ask people because, in real estate, we're helping people um, choose a lifelong house in some circumstances. We're helping people choose a house where they're just got married or they just had their firstborn, and we're putting these memories, these lifelong memories together. And for me, I see how important that is to me because of the kind of household I grew up in. We had a lot of love in the house. And with that, I like to ask people, what makes a house a home to you?
And back to that question, man. What makes a house a home is love. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, you know.
And why would you
So,
say?
uh, man, it goes back. I think was that Luther or Five Heartbeats? Got a song similar to that. But what makes it's
A heart is a house.
house
Uh,
of love. Yeah,
I've
yeah,
learned.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Hey.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay. I
yeah.
like that.
So man, I mean, not because of that song, but it's
But
true
it
fact, man.
expresses
Because
what you're saying.
yeah, because man, I'm a synergistic, and I relate to energy, man. Like when I go in certain spaces, if
Hmm.
I don't feel, I pick places based on energy and how I feel. I pick, I hang around people based on the energy. You know what I'm saying? If you have a negative vibe going on, I'm pretty much not gonna click with you. I'm not gonna stay around you too long. So in a house situation, every home that I've been in or wherever, you can walk in and you can feel the energy. Just like you go to your grandma's house, man, you feel some type of love as soon as you walk in. It's just like
Yeah,
warming and welcoming. Versus went to some people's house, and it's like, man, this stuff's not lining up right. It's some bad energy going on up in here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I say love creates a home because it changes the energy in the home.
I like that, man. Love it. Would if anybody is looking to learn a little bit more about commercial lending, are there any books you recommend, any YouTube videos you recommend they check out, or anything you would could offer to them to check out?
Man, it just depends on what they want in commercial lending. Like YouTube is your best friend, as you know. Just whatever they're trying to, if they need a line of credit, just Google line of credit. I don't recommend any books. I recommend YouTube. I'm a visual learner myself.
Okay,
So I like to watch people that know more than me, the experts in certain industries, and just take from what I want to from that conversation. So I don't recommend any particular people, but I would just say Google or YouTube, whatever subject that you're interested in, and go from there.
got you, got you. All right, man. Well, that wraps it up for the day. Again, I want to appreciate you for stopping by. I know it's so much more in commercial lending that you could go into, and also with the other industries you're in as well. So I think this is possibly one of our first shows, but I look forward to having you on again.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, and I'll be glad to come back anytime.
Already.
Let me give my number, man.
Yeah,
Anyone
please
needs
give me your
anything,
contact number and social media.
yes, sir. My contact number, my business line is 713-280-3623, and my email is Isaac@pinealfinancial.com. Website is pinealfinancial.com. Spell Pineal financial.com.
Hmm. ISAAC, right?
Yes, sir. ISAAC.
Okay, okay. All right, man. Awesome. Okay, well, I'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate.
We thank y'all for stopping by and listening. If y'all have any questions, remember you can directly contact me if you have any questions for loans and lending, so I can put you in contact with Ike, or you can hit me up. Excuse me, or you can hit Ike up directly. I'm gonna leave his contact information and phone number if you ever need any of those questions answered.
All right.
This
Thank
has
you.
been another episode of Inquiring Minds, and we are out.
Peace.